Hi, I'm Graham. Welcome back to Man vs. Film. I have got 10 fantastic indicator releases that I want to recommend. As we're just about to have an indicator sale, I wanted to give you some things to think over, movies to possibly think about buying. And like I said, I've got 10 recommendations here, but of course, I'm being a little bit naughty. I'm cheating on a couple of occasions here, but we'll get to them when we get to them. And of course, because this is a numerical collection, we're going to jump through it in order of releases just because of my OCD. So let's get started. First up, we have Christine, which is number 1 in the indicator range, a John Carpenter movie that if you haven't seen, please do. I know it has a silly concept, a killer car, but it's really well done. And it's done without any kind of sense of kitsch or silliness about it. It feels very realistic. It feels grounded in the characters that it portrays. Keith Gordon is brilliant as the little geeky guy who becomes more menacing and unsettled throughout the movie, who becomes a little bit unhinged due to the supernatural goings on within this car. Now, it's got a great commentary by Carpenter and Gordon, and it's got this 40 odd minute making of, which is pretty terrific as well, and it's just a wonderful release. Number 3 in the indicator range is Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, starring Sidney Poitier, Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn, and I was blown away when I watched this. I thought I'd seen it before, I hadn't. It was such an interesting take on a kind of, well, nowadays tired kind of format, and I think what I liked most about this was Tracy and Hepburn's performance. Together they are magical. This tackles the subject in a really unique way. I felt it was pertinent, it was important, it was funny, it was relatable in certain moments as well, and I just thought it was wonderfully portrayed. Tackled the thematics really well in a different way of what I was expecting, and was just a wholly enjoyable film. Next up, we have number 7 in the indicator range, and this is The Lady from Shanghai, starring Orson Welles, who also directs, and also starring Rita Hayworth. This is a wonderful noir movie. You get a very charismatic performance from Welles, who just shows all the talent that he has behind and in front of the camera as a man who is heading down a dark path and just cannot stop himself from being drawn into this femme fatale character. Really well done, a great mystery, great voiceover, great direction, and what I really like about this was the finale where it gets tense and suspenseful, and it has that in a room of mirrors where everything is going on, where it's all becoming almost like Enter the Dragon or other movies as well. This did it first, and it creates that sense of duplicitousness and just nastiness within the film. Incredibly fun, wonderful. Number 12 in the indicator range is The Anderson Tapes, starring Sean Connery and directed by Sidney Lumet, and this is a wonderful heist movie. Connery plays a man who is released from jail and instantly starts plotting his next heist. This introduces Christopher Walken in a small role, who's great as well. And what I really like about this is the editing, particularly towards the end when we have the heist going on. It is sort of intercut with both the heist and with the aftermath, with the police interviewing all the witnesses and people involved, and it's terrific. The ending is really suspenseful as the kind of police lay siege to this building. It's wonderfully set up and executed, and Connery is magnetic in this movie. And this has one of those odd little Super 8 versions of the movie. So the movie's 99 minutes long. Indicator have the Super 8 version, which is 17 minutes long. So they cut 82 minutes out of the movie to create this version. And I love these editions because just seeing how they just truncate the movie to its base plot points is just bonkers, but I love it. And the first of my cheats is the Sinbad Box Set, which has the 7th voyage of Sinbad, the golden voyage of Sinbad, and Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger, which are numbers 24, 25 and 26. Unfortunately, this set is no longer available, but each of the movies can be had in a standard edition. So all you're missing out is the booklet pretty much and the reversible sleeves. But these movies are wonderfully nostalgic for me, things that I utterly adore, and watching them now with my kids, much like I did with my dad, it was just eye-opening because it still plays today. They're still captivating and magical thanks to the Harryhausen effects, which just hold up and add a whole new level of awesomeness to these films. I recommend all three of them. It's hard to pick which one is my favourite. I think they're tremendous and essential. Next up we have number 48, and it's the Jack Tourneur directed Night of the Demon. Now again, this is a limited edition set. It's gone out of print. You can get the standard version now. It has a host of cuts, a host of extras. It is a horror movie that is really well done, creating a wonderful sense of atmosphere, despair, creating these wonderful characters, including the bad guy who gets enough time to reason and shine and state their point of view. They're all fully fledged. It has influences leading up to today. I think the most common one, I think, recently is Drag Me to Hell, which borrows quite heavily from this movie. It is from the 50s and it is dripping in atmosphere and highly recommended. Next up, number 50 in indicator range is Town on Trial. Now this is one of those movies that I discovered simply because I like the company. I had a look at the plot. I felt it was interesting enough. I took the plunge and bought it, and I found a movie that I utterly loved. It is basically a police procedural. It starts off with a woman who has been murdered. We have this detective who's investigating it. This is a small English town of affluent people, and he's supposed to be respectful of their position, but he likes to ruffle a few feathers and digs into the victim and how she kind of fitted in to this town and the people that she affected along the way. And it's just a wonderful procedural movie with him investigating, talking to suspects, dealing with his family life. A terrific movie that I'd never heard mentioned before until I picked it up on Indicator. Next up is my second cheat set, where I think all the movies are just worth it. This is The Five Tall Tales from Bud Boddicker and Randolph Scott. It's got The Tall Tea, Decision at Sundown, Buchanan Rides Alone, Ride Lonesome and Comanche Station. Amazing movies. Now when I picked this up, I knew they were all kind of B pictures for double features, you know, supposed to be counterparted with a bigger movie, and because they're kind of outside of the Hollywood system, I felt they were just going to be perfunctory, you know, just tick the boxes of what a Western should be. But they actually really tackle some wonderful themes within this. They're risky, they have wonderful dialogue, and they take chances. Unlike the mainstream Westerns of the time, they feel as if they're pushing the envelope a little bit. And I think Randolph Scott is terrific and varied within all his lead performances. I, again, had a particular idea of what I thought these movies were going to be, of what they were in my mind, and each one broke that idea and created something wonderful in its place. This is probably my favourite Indicator box set so far, because every movie was a surprise, wonderful, and something that I just utterly love. So you can pick any movie from this set. I think they're all fun. Number 125 is Bellman and True, a 1987 British crime thriller starring Bernard Hill, who is wonderful in this movie. And it's all about a man and his son who's on the run from a criminal gang who want him to help in a heist. He doesn't really want to, but he is being forced. And although he doesn't have much to say or do, he's rather stoic all the way through the movie. It is so engaging. It is so captivating. There are moments of extreme suspense and tension, particularly the getaway scene in the car, where it gets almost frustrating at a point, but excitingly so. It has several moments, a real surprise ending. I was tense up to the finale with this thing, and I just utterly loved it. Again, it's not one you really hear of, but Bellman and True for me, essential. Last one for me is Night Tide, starring a young Dennis Hopper. And this is one of those really weird and wacky movies that just doesn't fit into any kind of genre that I can think of. It's about a young man on shore leave from the Navy who falls in love with someone who is basically pretending to be a mermaid in a seaside attraction. And he starts to suspect over time that maybe she is a mermaid. All her lovers or boyfriends seemingly die a horrible death, and he's haunted by these images of strange sea creatures and other weirdness. It's wonderfully shot. It's very different. It has moments of comedy, of mystery. It's just got everything in such a weird package, which is why I think it's an essential viewing. And although the limited set is out of print, all you're really missing out is the short films by Curtis Harrington, and that's not a great loss. The movie itself is just unique and different. So there we have it. 10 recommendations from one of my favourite UK boutique labels. I hope there's something there that you're considering picking up in this upcoming sale. I hope some of these titles are in the sale and available for you to get. I can't wait to pick up a few more from this wonderful company pretty soon. Thanks for watching, and I would love to know your recommendations of great films and indicator for myself and for maybe some other viewers to contemplate picking up. Let me know in the comment box, and I'll see you next time on Man v Film.